Hi, how are you today? Okay, so this is my third time trying to cover this material today, trying to do the same fucking live stream and the first time there were some technical difficulties. I dropped my webcam, which my microphone's connected to again, and then I was muted for a really long time and didn't realize it. And then the second time, I get through like about 20 minutes of it, and then I go to show you guys what it's like for me to post um like on Facebook. Like I wanted to show why it I don't believe it was a mistake because for me, you have to really click some buttons to post as a business page on Facebook. So I feel like unless someone, but you know what, we'll get into that. I apologize. So today we're basically discussing a controversy with Red Dress Run's New Orleans. I said run, RUN, um, not friends, but Red Dress Run. Anyway, fucking, so there was a problematic post posted on their Facebook, and I had already done those two live streams fucking covering it. Well, the second live stream, I had to end that because when I went to show on Facebook for me, like how, I wanted to show an example of why on Facebook what it's like to make a business post. So I didn't think it was a, quote unquote, a mistake. Like I feel like they must have known what they were doing. um, because they claim the person hasn't been involved in them for a long time. So what are the chances that they're logged into your account? You know what I'm saying? Like, hmm, things just don't add up for me. Like, I just feel like the chances of this being a mistake or coincidence are very minimal. I do believe that this was possibly an intentional post to Red Dress Run by this person. Perhaps it could have been to um, fuck shit up for them. I do believe this could have been possible sabotage, or it could have been possible admission of beliefs behind people behind the administration of the event. And I think it also can speak to how we normalize and uphold certain scenarios in our society and our culture. So, what I'm gonna do is literally just play my live stream and we're just gonna rewatch the whole beginning of the whole fucking thing I just did. And because this is my second time doing this goddamn thing. And I'm like, really? A third time? Shit. So we're just gonna rewatch this fucking shit. Um and I'm gonna put that up real quick. Fucking the I don't know if the closed captioner is working for me, so let's see. I don't feel like, because it for some reason after I do a live stream, um, the same day that I publish the live stream, my captioner doesn't always align with the words I'm saying. It takes until the next day, for whatever reason, for the captioner to actually align with when I'm speaking. So I do expect additional caption errors as we watch this, and I want to apologize. So if the captioner isn't working, then I'm just going to readjust that. But yeah, all right, let's just get this started. Hi, how are you today? All right, so I am standing because I had just done this live stream in a way, and I was like about 40-ish minutes in, I think. And then there were some technical difficulties, including my camera falling over again, and then me being muted for an extended period of time again. And normally I just timestamp that because I'm like, fuck it. And then I'll just try to summarize it when I catch myself. But this time I realized I think I had been muted for a really long time. And I was like, well, I really don't know. Like normally I kind of have an idea of where I was muted from in between. Um, but this time I was like, damn, this is too much. So I just decided to fucking, because I would like restart the whole damn thing. Uh, yeah, so I'm even more rambly than usual. But because I'd already been like sitting here for a minute doing all this work today and then into this live stream, not, but somewhere between half an hour and an hour, Like, I don't fucking feel like sitting right now, so I'm fucking standing. And I'll probably sit down in a minute because I'm feeling a bit like, ugh. Oh shit, you know what? I might have to start this like here. Well, today I had pulled it up on my screen because I actually started with the wrong window. I meant to start with this screen, so whoops. But if you saw the window that I started whenever I was screen sharing, we're going to be discussing the New Orleans Red Dress Run today and a controversy surrounding that. And I'm going to explain that post a bit further in two shakes of a lamb's tail for those of you who were looking at that or able to see it for whatever reason or another. Um, but yeah, so that's today's main topic, and I also want to talk about upholding um, cultures and how we normalize behaviors in our society um, in relation to all of that. And because I have some traumas and some triggers, I'm going to try not to talk about my own shit, but I just feel like it might come out of me because I feel a bit personal about this information. And so I just want to let you guys know in advance, trigger warning. I don't know if I'll end up talking about it, but let's just say trigger warning for like assault, sexual assault and rape culture. If I do bring that up, I don't know if I will, but um, I might on a cursory level. Fucking, as well as of course the transphobia um, and discrimination regarding that as well. Um, so yeah, that's those are so it could be this could be some a pretty triggering live stream for you. So depending on what type of day it is for you, what type of moment it is for you, keep in mind whether or not this is a good thing for you to be watching. Um, all of my videos should be set to like 18 plus, so I'm hoping that like contributes to where the wrong people aren't seeing my messages because that's how I set it in like the auto setting thing or whatever. Um, yeah, if that makes sense. Okay, so fucking I'm gonna roll my intro and then we're gonna get into this thing. Just before I roll my intro, what we're gonna cover today is we're gonna go over the controversy and why I believe whoever's running New Orleans Red Dress Run could be transphobic. Then we're going to discuss the fallout of that, as well as why I believe a cover up is involved in this situation. And then after that, we're going to look into, for those that don't know, what exactly is Red Dress Run. We're going to talk about, because I know like it is a global event, it is an international event. So because it happens in a lot of cities, you probably already know what it is, but in case you don't, because I was born in Mississippi and then I moved to New Orleans when I was 12. And so we didn't have Red Dress Run where I was in Mississippi. So, you know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't know about talking here. Um, and then I'm also going to just bring up White Lenonite for a second, I think, and Dirty Lenonite for a second. So I got a source on that. And then we're going to talk about the Red Dress Run origin and how they are basically coming from the Hash House Harriers. And we'll look into the history of them. And we'll also look at, based on how they speak on themselves, how I question the way they normalize and uphold certain problematic behaviors in their society and how I have a potential like subjective bias based on a past experience within certain social crew members in New Orleans society. And I think I will kind of speak on my story on a cursory level to connect all of those dots when we get to that part of it. But yeah, all right, so I'm gonna roll my intro and then we'll start off with the what we came here for, with the problematic post from New Orleans Red Dress Run. Hi, my name is Lexi, also known as and doing business as Deaf Child. In 2022, my company was listed as number 14 Best Louisiana Events Companies and Startups. I have been doing business as Deaf Child since 2013. I have my Bachelor of Science in Music Industry Studies and Business Administration, and deafness runs in my family genetically. speech is not fully accessible to me. And I've got about 50 certifications in marketing and sales that you can find at nolashouse.com. Alright, so, in case you missed it, New Orleans Red Dress Run reshared a post. The original post was posted by someone named William Dan Clark. I don't know who the fuck they are. And his caption says, "These are the folks who want you to believe that J.D. Vance is weird." Then it shows a graphic. It's like a rectangle graphic, and it says "weird." And then it shows 6 pictures of what I believe could be possibly considered trans people or people in support of trans representation, perhaps. I don't know if those are the right words because I can't tell if I don't know if all of those people are trans. I don't want to mislabel the people in that photo as those photos as trans if they're not. You know what I'm saying? Then I also don't know the appropriate word. Perhaps you could say, would it be appropriate to perhaps use terminology of drag performance here? I don't know. Or I don't think cross-dressing is appropriate to say, is it? I don't know. But not decolonized enough for that. Look, I just know. Let's just to summarize the photo and move on. Let's just say, if that's okay. It says weird, and then it shows a group of trans people. And then it says not weird, and then it shows what appears to me to possibly be a representation of a mother, a father, and 2 children. Either way, it's a man and a woman and 2 kids. If we're gendering them, I don't know their genders. You know, it would be really funny if that was a picture of 2 people who were both like non-binary or something, or both trans that had kids. I'm sorry, I'm just being weird now, but because someone told me that I would never be a real woman because it was a man trying to convince me that I'm not a cis woman one time. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? I know I'm a cis woman. Like, and they're like, we can always tell, and they're trying to convince me that I'm not a cis woman. So I've had that, like, when, you know how when you get into arguments with these transphobic ass bitches, and I even had someone leave a fucking comment on one of my videos, but we'll get to that. We might get to that if I remember to cover it in time before 60 days runs out. It's currently held for review. Someone left a fucking comment similar to that on, I think it was possibly about a trans woman, my friend Rakivoshan on TikTok. Well, I say friends like the mutuals on TikTok. I don't want to be like, oh, I don't know them like Mariah Carey on J-Lo, but, you know, just to be like, well, we don't know each other. But, you know what I'm saying? But yes, my mutual on TikTok. But you know what I'm saying? Okay. That I covered? Alright. I apologize. I'm fucking crazy. I think I linked that video in the description of this one. But moving on. Fucking Alyssa Kramer. Alyssa Kramer? Is it Alyssa Kramer? I apologize. I don't know how to say your fucking name. And I blame my fucking, you know, I'm not about to say my family's names, but I blame the way people in my family have started pronouncing shit to where now I'm like, wait a minute, no, normal people pronounce this shit regularly. But anyway, fucking, yeah, so, maybe I'm being a bitch. I apologize, family, if you see this. I love you guys. Your hair looks so good today. Okay, fucking, so yeah, she was like, New Orleans Red Dress Run, I suppose we know how this is gonna go. So, you know, according to comments, they took the post down pretty quickly. And apparently someone had said in the comments that they brought the whole post back up and tried to act like they didn't know. We think one of their admins posted it and didn't realize they were logged in as Red Dress Run. And we think, and people were basically saying, and this is what I think too, that removing that person's access and letting everyone know would be a far more meaningful gesture than, oops, we didn't know how this happened. And we'll show you here in a screenshot. So one person said, please explain this with a comment of what occurred with the screenshot. And they said, we're working on figuring out how that got posted from our page right now. But if you're a business admin, it shows you the name of who posted it. So they know who the post came from. You know what I'm saying? And then they said it was absolutely not purposefully posted by the folks who run the event. It didn't say it was not posted. They said not purposefully posted, meaning I don't think that person meant to post it there. But here's my issue. I, in my opinion, feel that they are covering up because instead of, like the other commenter was saying, they did a whole dirty delete on the post. Allegedly, according to comments on here, they apparently tried to post a what people said was a half-assed apology, which I'm assuming is similar to that message. And basically saying we don't know what happened. They deleted it and fucking, yeah. And they're trying to act like they can't tell who posted it or something, or like we wouldn't know that. Like, come on, you think we don't run business pages? Come on. And fucking, yeah. So they don't want to admit. They said they know who and that they removed them from the group, but to still, even if you don't want to say the fucking name, because for legal purposes, perhaps, say you don't want to say the explicit name of who posted it for legal purposes, protect yourself from liability, even if you yourself think they should be outed, whether or not you think they should be outed, sometimes you can't out a specific person legal liability, even if you know they fucking did something. Especially if the evidence of them having done it is deleted, because if that post was deleted, now the evidence where it says who posted it is now deleted, therefore covering us. You know what I'm saying? Like, did they screenshot that before they did the dirty delete? I bet not. I bet it was intentional. Like, if the, you know what I'm saying? Like, how do we know for sure? These are kind of things where it's just like, if you left that up, it would lead us more to believe that you are at least doing internal accountability. You know what I'm saying? In my opinion. Unless it was that person who deleted it themselves trying to cover their own ass and no one could stop them before that happened. I kind of get that. But fucking, well, I mean, I don't agree with that, but I could understand how other people who managed a page, if they weren't on their fucking phone, because this all happened like overnight, like would have been able to stop that shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, and we all have like I go through phases where I will be online, like particularly, a lot, but then I go through other phases where it's like I'm out, for hours. I'm not at home. I'm not able to be on a device. You know what I'm saying? So I go through phases, and I feel like everybody does in their life. You know what I'm saying? Um. But my point there is that it just wouldn't surprise me if other people, who wouldn't have value alignment with that, wouldn't have been able to see or stop it if they had enough shit going on. Or try to do the right thing in the scenario if other people had already taken certain actions before they could have gotten involved. I do understand that when it's a lot of people running something. That's hit my fucking hand. That fucking hurt, man. What the fuck? Shit. Damn. Life is hard. Alright, fucking. And this comment also has people complaining about the type of audience at the event as well. And it also has some dip fucks being like, they're not saying this word for word, but in my opinion, they're basically being like, get the fuck over it. So, yeah. So, when you look at New Orleans Red Dress Run, and the filter is set to all so you can see what everybody is speaking on Facebook. That's the first post, what we just looked at. It's got 71 shares, 130 comments, 76 likes, the first post I see. The next post 3 hours ago, so Red Dress Run New Orleans deleted their Facebook. And when you click that link, it goes to an unofficial page. And then whenever you try to look up Red Dress Run NOLA to find them again, or Red Dress Run, if you look up, or if you change NOLA to New Orleans, let's change NOLA to New Orleans here. original page is gone as it was with the original logo and everything. Um, and I swear to God, the page was there last night. So last night, after my live stream, is when I saw all of this shit. When my live stream ended, and I wanted to cover it, go ahead and cover it then, but I was too tired and I just had shit going on, so I was just like, okay, I'm gonna cover this tomorrow. And so between last night and today, their entire Facebook page, as was, went down, and now it's an unofficial page that's left up. And I'm not going to scroll. I don't want to scroll down to see those posts because I don't want to loop in. Because I feel like the posts on here from 5 years ago, and I don't want to loop those people into this. Because I don't think this is from Gay Travel for You. If I don't know about them, but I don't want to link what is a queer service into this transphobic bullshit. Although I guess I may have just by saying their name, but I mean they're on the page we're looking at, and I'm just trying to make it clear I don't associate them with this shit. They just happen to come party here. Um. So yeah. So then this is what they're saying. We figured out the person responsible has not been associated with our group for a while, and they thought they were posting to their personal page. We mistakenly did not remove her from this page, but have taken action to clean up our admin rights page. So someone is saying, we as a community need to not cancel something so quickly that I feel like calling them out for not fully taking accountability isn't the same as canceling. No one's ever said stop going to Red Restaurant. People are asking for accountability. And when people talk about cancel culture, I fully don't believe cancel culture exists. Why? Because people continue to do fucked up things and people still support them. So when people talk about, oh, cancel culture, that's usually someone who, in my opinion, I don't feel safe around because that's usually someone upholding what I consider to be a possible harmful environment by allowing people to do things without taking accountability. Because, in my opinion, I only see people talk about cancel culture when they're trying to avoid accountability. Because half the time, when I see people, and like actually bring up real critiques talking about discrimination, oppression, human rights issues, no one says shit about canceling a person. We're saying let's unless we're talking about fuck the police, that's different. You know what I'm saying? When people criticize cancel culture, or they start criticizing an actual critique to discrimination or oppression or human rights issues as, oh, that's cancel culture, to me that just speaks to where your value alignment is. Because at the end of the day, until we die, we're not canceled, we're still here, we're living. All you're doing is showing where you're putting your value alignment. You know what I'm saying? I can kind of understand how it can be when a bunch of people in your past have managed your page. It can be kind of fucky to get through a back-end business admin. I'm an admin on a lot of pages I don't fucking deal with or manage anymore. I haven't spoken to them shits in years. I don't get on their fucking page though. And I don't like, you would have to, it's pretty hard to accidentally post. Okay, so here's where basically right after here, I have to end the live stream on this one because I accidentally showed somebody's fucking kid, and I was like, fuck, god damn it. So I instantly privated this fucking video. It shows. Does it show that it's private? Am I out of it? Is there a way for me to show you guys that I privated the video? It's interesting. Anyway, no one can see this shit though. So, yeah. Fucking. But I know that some of the screenshots from all of that were a little blurry, so just kind of scrolling through here, I feel like I said in there all the main commentary I have. For those of you who do want to read what was posted, I'm just kind of scrolling through so anyone can pause and see what was previously on the screen that we discussed. A new comment from the last 15 minutes is one person saying that Red Dress Run is an absolute shit show and that they are abusive to all of service industry in the city. And that everyone they know that has to deal with it loathes it because um, they're anti-feminist and homophobic, and it's a bullshit event, and it's not edgy or funny. And so, there's back and forth. I feel like the community response is pretty split. Some people are like, "Oh, it's a charity. We should just get over it. People make mistakes." And some people are like, "No, because they didn't take accountability. We can't get over people just making a mistake when y'all acting like y'all are trying to." The first response was to act like you didn't know what happened when we know you know what happened. You just don't want to tell us. Just say you don't want to tell us. It's the lack of transparency behind the upfront bullshit fuckery of the discrimination itself. You know what I'm saying? Um, yeah. Um, so one person posted, oh, we didn't see this yet. So before Red Dress Run deleted their page, they published a post that said, "We are aware of an insensitive post mistakenly made earlier this evening. Screenshots of this post were taken before we were aware of the mistake and could have taken action to remove the post." Because it's not just about removing the post, it's addressing who posted it and why it got posted there to begin with. Because if you just delete it without addressing how or why it happened, it doesn't look like you're taking accountability. It just looks like you want to cover it up, brush it off, and move along and act like it didn't happen, but we saw it. We gotta have truth for reconciliation, not let's just brush this under the rug. That is toxic, in my opinion. And then they say we want to offer our most sincere apology for this post. I don't feel an apology without accountability is very sincere in my opinion. Um, so I can definitely see, like, I don't think that they have had a good response so far. I can definitely see why others are on along the same lines as me. And I do disagree with the people who are kind of trying to dismiss it and sweep it under the rug. The only thing I like about seeing the people say that type of shit is now I know who I want to fucking avoid, because those are the type of people I don't fucking trust them. I don't. Um, And then they say, the views expressed do not reflect the Red Dress Run, a not-for-profit charity fundraiser which supports multiple diverse organizations in New Orleans. Well, the Red Dress Run and how it started with the organization, and it's a global event, it's an international event, global event, and the organization behind it is international. The Hash House Harriers are an international and global organization. I do feel that organization, we could make an argument for it as an entirety upholding colonialism, in my opinion. Um, so I'm just gonna put that out there. And then it says, well, they put RDR, but I'm sure they mean Red Dress Run for that. When they say has raised over $2 million to date for organizations and projects right here in New Orleans, and we know this was made possible by the support of attendees from every background. And I know that people of all walks of life exist, but if you look at the advertising, particularly from the sources we're going to look at later on about Red Dress Run, I think, in my opinion, it is a primarily whitewashed event, and we can see from the origins of it why I believe that is. Um, and then it says, again, you have our apologies, and we look forward to ensuring we stay true to our history of supporting diversity, equity, and inclusion. But you don't have a history of that, in my opinion. And then they say, see you August 10th. So, yeah, I don't know. I just don't like this. For me, it just kind of speaks to everything I hate about toxic capitalism. It's kind of it reminds I don't know, well, I don't know if that's appropriate to compare it to, but it does kind of remind me of how now instead of like actually doing anything with land back, people will do land acknowledgments. Okay, we'll give the land fucking back, dipshits. You know what I'm saying? That's what it reminds me of. We're just like, yeah, we know we did that. We're sorry, but we're not going to do anything about what we did wrong. We're just going to acknowledge we did wrong and just keep moving, exploiting that and benefiting off of that. But you know what? Let's acknowledge it. Like, that's kind of how that reminds me of the way that was approached. I heavily disagree with it, and you're welcome to disagree with me. Just stay the fuck away from me if you do. You know what I'm saying? Um, yeah, fucking. And then, oh my god. One person said the original post was spot on and motivated me to triple my normal donation to RDR. Wow. Wow. And yeah. And then someone else was saying that their attempts to clean up what happened was weak, and the commenters weren't having it. So the Red Dress Run said to somebody, "We have read every comment, every post, every message, etc., and are deeply upset for not moving fast enough to comment." Bro, we have figured out that a previous member of our group who is no longer associated still has access to our page. Okay, I already bitched about this comment. Or, no. I already bitched about this concept because this is basically the same message that they sent that other fucking person. And so y'all already know how I disagree with this shit. And someone said, as a registered hasher, this makes me feel absolutely uncomfortable, as it should. But yeah, fucking, because instead of, even if you don't want to give out their specific names, because for legal liability purposes, you may not be allowed to do that, depending. I'm just saying, it could be a thing. But then again, I don't think so. If you have the proof, you know they did it. I don't think it is a thing. I think they should name it, but you know what? Say you don't want to, for whatever reason, to still, honestly, I really do think it should be named. I've made arguments for, well, what if they didn't name them, you know, but okay, hold on. Let's read what someone else said. They said screenshots were taken before it was deleted to document the mistake, as you call it. Removing the post is ultimately a good thing, but not wanting there to be evidence of the transphobic post on your page by someone with admin access is not the right response on your part. It undercuts the sincerity of the apology and makes it look more like damage control. Accountability requires both admitting to the damage caused by someone on your leadership team and explaining to all of us what steps you are taking to remove this person from a leadership position in your organization and ensuring nothing like this happens again. I can't speak. You know what the fuck? I'm saying close enough. Then it says you have a history of supporting diversity, equity, and inclusion, quote unquote. Please clarify this for us, ideally with receipts of what portion of the over 2 million you have and will re-grant to LGBT organizations. Yeah. And so, and then that brings me back to where my original post, I had to take it down. What I was trying to do was, so if I go and just make a post, like share something, like I'm trying to share this post right here, I would have to click page and then choose a page in order to share a post to that page, unless I was already signed in as that page. But why would you sign yourself into a page you allegedly haven't been involved with an organization for several years for? You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? That was one thing I had to show you. And it's the same for me on my phone. I have to do those steps. On my phone, however, the only difference is on my phone is it gives me the option when you click feed to then change it to the page when I do it on my phone. And on desktop, I have to click the page button. And the only reason I'm not switching into a business account right now is because if I do, it'll take me out of these right here links that I have pulled up. I'm not using the right words, but you know what the fuck I mean, I think. Um, so yeah, what was the other thing I wanted to show you, bitches? You're not bitches. Oh yeah, if I just go create a new post, um, I have to, if I just go create a new post, it doesn't even let me like share it as a page. I would have to switch. That was what I wanted to show you, I think. I would have to switch into the business page. So, for me, that just taking it back to their arguments, you know, oh, someone who hasn't been involved with us in so long, so don't worry about them, they're not involved. Like, that comes back to why I think there could possibly be an element of sabotage to it. Are they someone that they're on good terms with, I wonder? And if they're not on good terms, if that wasn't on good terms with someone, and you know what I mean, and they did that to me to ruin my business page, I would throw those bitches under the bus so quick I would screenshot, be like, nah, this fucker posted this shit here. You know what I'm saying? Um, like the complete betrayal if something like that happened to me. You know what I mean? I would be outing them bitches. I don't give no one access to my shit. Fuck that. But, um, right. Like, so for me, it's like, why are you protecting them? For me, that shows someone you're still trying to maintain a relationship with, and that is something I speak to upholding a very problematic culture. My opinion, I don't know anything for sure. They could, you know, they could hate each other, have nothing to do with each other. I don't know shit. I'm just discussing how I feel about different scenarios. Um, I disagree with people constantly using disabilities as a derogatory thing. That's ableism. So this person said, regarding this comment section here, when there are this many people who find the same problems with an event, the wise thing for fans to do would be to hush, listen, and find ways to fix said problems. But alas, some are dresses up, balls to the wall, in blind support of this charitable event, quote unquote, on the charitable. There's nothing wrong with being blind. I hate when people use blindness and deafness, etc., in ableist ways. Like that doesn't help your cause. Being ableist to defend transphobia is still upholding discrimination. You know what I'm saying? It's okay if like you don't know better because we're all learning and shit like that. If it doesn't impact you, you have no way of knowing. But it's also more of like this is look at how fucked up this society is because and the reason I'm not even bothered to say anything because a lot of people you bother to say something to no matter how nice it is they just get so defensive and it's just like I'm fucking tired of it. It's so rare to meet people who when you let them know something's discrimination they're like oh shit thanks for telling me now I know that I love those people. Those are my favorite fucking people. But they're so rare that you kind of give up sometimes because you don't. You have to deal with so much bullshit to find those people. Yeah, I don't know if that makes sense. Um. Okay, this is just another repost of the same comment. So somebody's comment about the apology I read, they said, and the comments are now locked. I recently got a quote unquote apology just like this from a former friend, claiming a vague quote unquote mistakenly without being truthful about whatever happened, whatever actually occurred. Something that was clearly purposeful is not acknowledging a damn thing. Do not know the organization well and always really hated the event. Um, but I do know they're a charitable organization, and I hope that they handle this better and publicly state that they've gotten rid of this admin. Yeah, yeah. So, out of this comment section, if you just look up New Orleans Red Dress Run in general on Facebook, that was the first thread I saw. Uh, they deleted their entire fucking Facebook page. I don't know if they're gonna bring it back. But yeah, fucking there's basically a lot of people are resharing this post. When you look up, it's a myth. When you look up the red dress run on New Orleans, just Facebook SEO, the results for me are a mix between people calling them out for the transphobia, people saying to ignore it because they're charity, and then it just being about promoting red dress run regardless of either of that. So yeah, I feel like at this point I'm kind of repeating myself. I'm not seeing too much new information here, but in Queer New Orleans. Okay, in Queer New Orleans, they say, when did the New Orleans Red Dress Run become a homo transphobic organization? And someone said, ironic considering the cross-dressing cosplay. I hope they issue a public apology and do some work intentionally to ferret out this anti-queerness. I've never heard ferret out used in that way before. I'm just reading the comment here. That's interesting. Learning something new, I guess. They say they're working to figure out which admin posted it. They know which admin posted it. Someone said, I went to his personal page and it's full of hateful posts. He's definitely not from New Orleans. I guess they're talking about Williams, perhaps? Unless they know. I'm not sure how something that stupid could get posted. Okay, yo, they know who posted it. It tells you. One of the RDR admins shared a posting page, and now it looks like they disabled their page altogether. I'm going to reply. I don't really want to join. I don't care, but I am queer. I just don't give a fuck about keeping up with shit. Like, I'm in so many groups. I just don't want to be in that many more groups. And it's like I don't know. Whatever, it doesn't matter. Who gives a shit? I guess I'll need to fucking tell them anything. All right, so yeah. So we've already covered, the red dress run page is gone. So now let's just look into, let's just kind of look into the history of red dress run and why I believe they are kind of upholding a problematic culture and how they, in my opinion, come from a problematic culture. So go figure. So it is August 10th, just reiterating that. You will see, whenever you see photos, you will of course see people from anywhere and everywhere. But whenever we look at the photos available to me, you'll notice, in my opinion, it's primarily white people, affluent people, a lot of college kids, red dresses, mostly white people. You will see people of all walks of life, of the global majority there as well as queer people, but it's mostly straight white people, primarily straight white men, doing the actual red dress run itself. And I'm talking cis straight white men as well. You know what I'm saying? In my opinion, from what I observed. And I previously saw a post claiming that, or a comment claiming, I think I mentioned this, about how, like, there were no kids allowed, but I always see fucking kids around, alright? Y'all can't change my fucking mind about that shit. Like, I think I can find photos of me there as a child, or at least at 16. Things like that. So yeah, it's coming up in just a couple of weeks. So the timing of this does, to me, kind of seem suspicious because of how I showed you the actual steps it takes to make a post on a business page. It's you have to really not be paying attention to accidentally post that. I just believe the way it's set up now, and if you're not actually involved with that group, the chances of you accidentally being logged into them or accidentally posting there are just so minimal to me. I don't understand it. To me, it's like not having someone's phone number saved into your phone and accidentally texting them and claiming it was an accident, or not even accident, like purposefully texting them, but claiming it was an accident because you meant to text someone else, but you didn't even have their number saved in your phone, so you had to type their number in your phone to text them. like that, in my opinion. You know what I'm saying? Like they didn't just make a little post. I got a text message. Funny. They had to do some shit. Oh, damn it! I got that late. Hold up, I'm sorry. I'm answering a text message. Okay. Fucking. But yeah. And if you notice here, they call it absurdly androgynous activity. What's absurd about it? So the way that shows that they're publishing it as a mockery, in my opinion, of trans identity and drag culture, in my opinion. So I feel like the entire basis of promoting themselves is by mocking and exploiting trans identity and drag culture. My opinion. And this wording here of absurdly androgynous activity in reference to white, straight, cis men who typically come from more affluent areas wearing red dresses or whatever, while, you know, like trying to cover up this transphobic post in New Orleans to connect all them dots. And then when we look where they talk about the Hash House Harriers running club is said to have been founded by British runners in Malaysia in 1938. Oh my God, I forgot to look this up. Hold up, let me show you, let me see something. Oh, shit. We're gonna get to this. Yeah, we'll get to this. Whew, we're gonna come back to that. Oh, fuck. Alright, so I did some Googling, and I just Googled what was happening between Britain and Malaysia in 1938, and we're gonna get to that. Yeah, colonialism. Okie dokie. So, they market themselves as a drinking club with a running problem. And they have chapters around the world or whatever. And yeah. And they market themselves as a charity organization. And in my opinion, based on their origin, them being a charity is literally them just donating money to problems they cause and giving themselves a tax write-off for it. But that's just my opinion. My opinion. My opinion. Okay. Fucking. And then by having a nonprofit organization, they don't have to pay taxes. Oh, isn't that fun? Love that for them fuckers. Fucking no, I don't. That was a lie. So, in New Orleans, I did bring up an article on White Linen Night because White Linen Night and Dirty Linen Night are typically the week. Like, so White Linen Night is on August 3rd. Dirty Linen Night is typically the following Saturday, week after White Linen Night, and it's almost always the same Friday as Red Dress Run. So when you look at photos of that, you're gonna see, like, you'll typically see people in red or white, because White Linen Night is a art festival on Julia Street in the Central Business District. All the art galleries open up. If you see the little, like, what's it called? The pop-up tent thingies? There's a fucking word for them bitches, but I'm blanking on it right now. There's a different fucking word for these little pop-up tent canopy looking little bitch things, but I forgot the word for them. Fucking, but they have a bunch of those, and these typically have, some of them will have food, but they're typically little bars, like they have drinks for sale here. And there's music in the street, and they do it on Julia Street for White Linen Night on the first weekend of August, and then on the second weekend of August, they do Dirty Linen Night on Royal Street, and it's the same thing on Royal Street, and it's called Dirty Linen Night because for some reason these dip fucks allegedly wear the same dirty clothes from White Linen Night. I never did that shit. But yeah, so red dress run, and a lot of people, they'll go down to the French Quarter for red dress run and then stay through for dirty linen night, because red dress run's the first half of the day and dirty linen night will be the evening, and it'll be like a whole day affair in New Orleans, which is why I brought this article up. um and these are primarily whitewashed, white spaces, events. There will be people from anywhere and everywhere, of course, there, but just to let you know the type of environment it is, in my opinion. Um, so you can see here, it's got, can I zoom in on this photo? If you zoom in on this photo, you see how many white people there are, and you can see some white. Every now and then you see some white outfits too. You see some different colors like every now and then too, but the primary colors is mostly red, because this is from the red dress run portion with a little bit of white. And the reason you see those two colors so much this day is because of Dirty Linen Night and Red Dress Run. And you can see from this crowd overview how there will be, bits of other people from other places, people of the global majority present, but primarily these are whitewashed events and predominantly white spaces. And if you want to know why, we gotta look into the origin of these events. And they call it outlandish costumes as well. And I mean, in New Orleans, you'll always see people in outlandish costumes, but the main theme of Dirty Linen Night and Red Dress Run is people in red or white. There's not too much outlandish costumes unless they're red or white. Sometimes you'll see people dressed as devils and angels and things like that. You know, obviously, red and white, New Orleans cost, like, what makes sense? Party, yeah. Okay, so just to give you a little overview on how Hash House Harriers present themselves, and in a few seconds we're gonna see how for me this ties into SA culture. So I just want to say, in New Orleans, all of the social organizations, it's all connected. So I used to be involved in a 1,000 member crew. From that 1,000 member crew, I was also in a dance team that performed in Mardi Gras parades that is now split into two dance teams. Trigger warning, SA warnings happening here. And from that 1,000 crew, it's all connected to all the other social crews in New Orleans. And that 1,000 crews has a lot of music venue owners, a lot of musicians, attorneys, a lot of the top people running these types of events. And I was raped at a crew meetup, Halloween 2018, at the Maple Leaf Bar. And the Maple Leaf Bar, in my opinion, helped my rapist and supported my rape. They kicked me out and for causing a scene and threatened to call the police on me. And that same year, they had voted my rapist. He was voted king of Crew of Oak, and he was king of Crew of Crew. And he's the son of a well-known attorney in New Orleans to literally help police get away with shooting an unarmed black teen in the back. You know what I'm saying? So those are the types of people putting on these events, letting you know, in my opinion. And it may not be those specific people. And so the guy that raped me, his sister-in-law is on the dance teams I was on. So these dance teams that preach about woman encouragement covered up my rape. Maple Leaf Bar then tried to do a Me Too movement in March thing, but they covered up my rape and they protected my rapist. You know what I'm saying? And now I'm gonna find a way to speak more about what happened to me on that dude. I'm gonna find a way, but we'll see. It's difficult to speak because of how they will go after you. But they've gone after me before, so But I won't give up. And I'll try again to tell my story. Um, so yeah, that's gonna fucking happen one day. I believe it. I'll make it happen. But all this to say, the way that they talk about themselves is just like the community that covered up my rape. And they're also the organizers behind the people who are trying to now cover up transphobia. So I do see it as all connected with how we normalize behaviors in our society as a community and how we uphold toxicity in culture, such as rape culture. So, you know, discrimination, oppression. That's how it all connects to me. Now, I do think I can have a very dirty sense of humor. Like, for example, I say a lot of filler words, and I will say the words butt fucking a lot. And I won't be trying to be, you know, but it'll be like, you know, I say butt a lot, I'll say fucking a lot, and I'll say butt fucking. And then I get entertained because I just said butt fucking, right? So I like, you know, so I can be a little immature, like, it's like, bitch, you're 30 years old, stop being entertained by butt fucking. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can kind of get that on one level, but at the same time, it's just like when you're stressed, everybody needs just like little bits of like ways to kind of let off steam, relax, entertain ourselves. So, you know, I can understand having fun with joking about sexuality. It can be fun. However, I would just like to reflect on um some of the wording here I find a little problematic potentially. For example, they say religious advisor dead cell cops wives matter cavity search. 40% of spouses of police report abuse, domestic abuse, and domestic violence. 40%. To me, this just feels like it could potentially be making light of Black Lives Matter as well as police brutality. It's just, to me, making fun of police brutality. It's making fun of Black Lives Matter, and it's making fun of police brutality, upholding abuse against their partners. My opinion. I don't see what's fucking funny about this shit. And so, no wonder someone felt comfortable to make that post on that page when this is a type of shit that the people that promote them, the New Orleans Hash House Harriers club, are promoting. Are y'all really okay with this? Because I'm not. And I know I can't speak for other communities that I'm not a part of. And I apologize if I am overstepping. I do not intend to do so. That doesn't negate the impact of that harm if that is what I'm doing, though. You know, so I hope that this is an opportunity too for people to correct me also in that regard. But in that regard, I will only be accepting commentary from people who are Black. I or Native, you know, when it comes to police brutality, because police brutality also impacts Indigenous people here as well. My father is Indigenous descent, so am I, of course. But you know, fucking, so that's where I have to be like, okay, well, I always say I really struggle with. I want to acknowledge where I stand on human rights issues, but I don't want to be trying to speak over or represent other communities' stuff. And I don't know if I'm crossing that line right now, but this does not sit right with me personally. Um, so yeah, I feel like in the correct environment, sexuality is always good to joke about. But what I don't like is the era of misogyny to me that I feel is where all of these come from seeming to want to dominate women, such as pork her, bend over rover, um, cops wives matter, you know, there for something about it feels like an air of misogyny in the name. And then the wiener breath. That it seems like they really like people. If you have that type of fetish, then I'm not kink shaming. And if this is that space for that, I hope that is a safe space for you to explore that type of way for you to express yourself. But fucking something about all the way the patterns connect for me, the wording, the cover up, and my past experience with the type of people I've experienced like this in this community screams red flags for me, and I just have to express that, to put that warning out. Like, I absolutely feel that that type of space should exist for people, but when looking for that space for you, are these red flags for you? Be safe. You know what I'm saying? Um, I do not like, so for the Hash New York City Hash House Harriers, when I was Googling them, in general, this is the New York City version, not New Orleans. So I know we're speaking on New Orleans, but I just want to talk about Hash House Harriers as an organization. And here they promote like a code of misconduct, and it's a code of misconduct and good behavior. And something about the way they word it just makes me feel like it's like, I don't know. There's something about it that just, because so the community that covered up my rape, that protected my rapist, they all promote themselves as Me Too, woman empowerment. They all promote themselves saying all of these same things, yet when it came down to it, that's not what happened. And so something about their wording, how they don't do code of conduct, they call it code of misconduct. It just really feels like they're just admitting that they're going to be misconducting themselves to begin with. You know what I'm saying? Um, and whenever they say consent is mandatory and can be rescinded, I think they should reword that. Consent itself cannot be something that you mandatorily give. They should mean it is mandatory to get consent to take any action, in my opinion. Not that you must, because consent is mandatory. Sounds like you can, you know what I'm saying? But then when you explain it, then of course, but then still. Um, but yeah, so theoretically, the I just feel like this also doesn't leave room for things like, oh, well, if someone gets assaulted, will they still be in? Because according to this, they still get a chance. There should also be some room for if some real fuck shit happens, you ain't coming back from that. Um, but I also don't like where they're like, it means consenting to a suspension of standard public decorum in your vicinity, but does not suspend standards of basic human decency. I don't like the way they word that, because for me, that doesn't, to, if you're going to be a safe space to indulge yourself in, whether it be sexuality or environment or whatever that is, um for us to say, well, that's suspending standard public decorum, in my opinion, kind of is what will villainify people for having a good time or being sexual or expressing themselves. Um, I don't know. I don't like the way they word things, but I accidentally clicked away. Let's just get away from this shit. All right. So there's an article here about what goes on behind the scenes of the Hash House Harriers from 2015, one of New Orleans running and social crew. Fucking and basically it's just about getting fucked up and drinking a shit ton of beer. And so, but what I don't like here is they say in every family it seems you're likely to find at least one crazy uncle, a nurturing aunt or two, and possibly a slutty sister. This to me is misogynistic, it's ableist, and then it literally yeah, it's definitely misogynistic. Like, you know what I'm saying? You're both expecting the woman to mother you while slut shaming women for expressing sexuality at a location where you're trying to promote yourself as a safe space for sexuality. I don't get that. Unless someone consents to having some type of fetish where they like to be degraded, I think it's just fucked up to what? To slut shame people for sex in a space where you're trying to promote sexuality. What? Um so yeah. They say that hashers are people of diverse ages, professions, and backgrounds, but if you notice that the photos, it's primarily a whitewashed. Every photo that we see of these events are very whitewashed. So that's what they're calling diverse, in my opinion. Um, like you can't, I don't know. So yeah. And they're also commenting a lot about how the main focus is beer. And they literally call it's kind of like a not so grown up version of a frat party in their own words. So that's why it attracts the frat mentality. And they do speak to spinning everything into something overtly sexual. That's why really you can't. How are you gonna be the one spinning things into something overtly sexual while sexualizing women? Particularly with some sort of quote unquote slutty sister trope. What the fuck? And then if you look at these photos, this is what they're calling diverse. I see one per person of the global majority that I believe that I don't want to tokenize here. I apologize. But look at all of the white people. And that's what they're calling diverse. Ah, I fucking clicked away again. God damn it. Okay. So now let's move on to Wikipedia. In Wikipedia, we can see here fucking it kind of goes on into the overall history of the Hash House Harriers. And the Hash House Harriers, it started as a hash or a run or a hash run or hashing. And it's about drinking with beer, typically. And it started in Kuala Lumpur, which is now known as Malaysia, in 1938. And notice here, they call it a group of British immigrants. I noticed the whitewashing here, and I'll show you why when we look at the history of what was happening between Britain and Malaysia then. Woo! Yeah, immigrants. Okay. Fucking, no. Fuck you, bitches. Fucking. And then they named the bitches who originally started it. I don't know who the fuck any of those fucking people are. So, and hash is apparently an old British slang for bad food. Well, I don't know why we call hash browns then, because I fucking love that shit. Um, they say that it stopped after the invasion of Malaysia during World War II, but several of the original group restarted it in 1946 after. So yeah. And then it goes into more of it and then how it all started. And so it started there from British people, and then from there they started doing regular meetings, and then it started as a social event. They started doing special events. They started having red dress runs. In 1987, um, someone was taken to a hash in Long Beach, California. So she was invited to wait in the truck, but instead she ran in her red dress. And she became known as the Lady in Red. And she suggested that the hashes be used to raise funds for local charities. So I just think that's so funny because the colonizers want to act like them raising funds for charities that are supposed to solve problems that they caused make them good and use that to then excuse discrimination. It's fucking hilarious to me. Um so yeah. We'll just end that here. So we're gonna look at what was happening between Britain and Malaysia in 38. Wikipedia didn't give a shit. History of Malaysia. So basically, the Portuguese began the colonialism there in the 1500s. Then the Dutch joined down around the 17th and 18th century, and then the 19th century, the English decided to fucking get their claws up in that shit. Um, but using the Anglo-Dutch Treaty of 1824, which then defined the boundaries between British Malaya and the Dutch East Indies, which became Indonesia. And then the Anglo-Siamese Treaty of 1909 defined the boundaries between British Malaya and Siam, which became Thailand. I don't know if I said that right. I am so sorry if I said that wrong. Um, so yeah. So this is well, we can say this is some colonialism ass shit. So it started with colonialism. Look at this. Look at this. Ugh. Look at this. So yeah, I'm gonna link this history of Malaysia blurb up in there. And then here's a facts and detail about British in Malaysia. Um, so the British attempted to colonize in there as early as 1771, but didn't gain a foothold until 1786. Okie Um, and then what was happening? What was the year we were just looking at? 1938. Let's see here. So by 1910, it was a pattern of British rule in the Malay lands that were established. So yeah. So when they talk about, oh, this started from British immigration, don't you mean British colonialism? You know what I mean? So even the marketing of the origin story itself is whitewashed. No wonder they look at all of the sea of white people and then say, this is diverse background. You know what I mean? And that's why I believe like it's all connected with this system of upholding and utilizing capitalism to normalize upholding toxic cultures and exploiting others for the benefit of some. You know what the fuck I mean? Like I see it as all connected. Um, just my opinion, my experience. So yeah, fucking be safe. New Orleans is very dangerous. If you go to any show, anywhere in this city, if you're the music industry is very dangerous. The events industry is very dangerous. Be very safe. People do uphold discrimination in all forms here. People do cover up sexual assault. They do protect rapists. They do defend transphobia. You are not safe. Never, ever, ever. Keep that in mind. I know everybody deserves a place to go let loose, have fun, get fucked up, and have a great time. I believe we all deserve that. But I do not believe that you are safe in this city. A lot of people come to New Orleans to do nothing but get fucked up, and you're not safe. Please, I'm begging you, don't do that. If you come to New Orleans, there's nothing wrong with imbibing. Have a good time. Drink if you want to. I don't drink anymore. I've been sober from alcohol since September 9th, 2019. But if you want to drink alcohol, drink alcohol. Just be safe when you do it. Please drink extra water in between drinks. Don't drink too much. Don't go crazy. Be very careful in this city. I don't believe it is safe. I do believe, to sum it up, I absolutely believe that it's discrimination that fucking what the post was made. I do believe it's transphobia. I do believe that they are covering it up because I do believe they have access to who it is. Um, and I was trying to think of like, oh, legal liability. Maybe they shouldn't out the person. But in my opinion, things such as legal ramifications, such as defamation, um, only go out on someone, or doxing perhaps, that only it applies to what's not publicly available. In my opinion, if someone harms you and you name them and you have evidence for that, that's not the same as doxing them. um and I haven't processed enough to form a legal argument or conclusion on that. I'm not a lawyer, so I don't really have a legal argument, I guess. But I just feel like when you name someone who did something to you, that's not doxing. That is, you for doxing, if their name is public information, their name is their name, that should be public record. That is public record that should be allowed to be discussed, in my opinion. Whenever they did actions, particularly when you have proof to back it up. And with things like assault and rape and discrimination, you don't always have proof to prove what happened. And I don't think you should have to prove what happened to be believed. Because in a lot of cases, there's no fucking proof. And I think you should still be believed. You know what the fuck I mean? But I do think that if you have the proof, that's definitely the evidence to show, this is not defamation. And I do believe that I gotta process more, and hopefully maybe I'll come out in a different live stream about this, further processing the difference between, in my opinion, public awareness, using someone's name to spread public awareness about actions they did in order to let people know, be safe, because they could be harmful, that versus what would be doxing on that level. Would it be doxing just to say who someone is and to identify what someone did? In my opinion, I don't think it would be doxing, because you would be clearing your own name. You're accused of something. If someone else did it, to show that they did it, that they made that action publicly on a public page, they knew their name would be attached to it when they did it. You know what I mean? Like, so I had previously mulled over the aspect of, well, I could see why an organization wouldn't out someone to protect them regarding allegations such as doxing or defamation or something. But after further reflection, I think that concept is bullshit. I don't think there's a justification in that regard for it, and I do think that they're covering it up, my opinion. But yeah, I'm gonna just keep talking in circles and keep bitching about this forever if you let me. So I'm gonna go link the additional articles I looked up between Britain and Malaysia in the description of this video. And yeah, thank you so much for watching with me today. I appreciate you so much, and I hope you have a great afternoon. Thanks for watching. You might want to adjust the volume after all of this because a loud music is going to play. So yeah, adjust the volume. And then if you're coming to these lives anyway, I do have a loyalty program, nola.child.com/loyalty. If you sign up for my site as a member and you follow the check-in procedure, you can get points just for showing up to these lives anyway. So I just want to let you know about that. Yeah, about that. Yeah, I always have a really hard time saying goodbye because, saying goodbye really just kind of feels like you're Tom Hanks. You know what I mean? Over here, just like, Wilson! But anywho, yeah, so thank you for being here and goodbye.